ties it. Yeah.
Just an agent of chaos, aren't you, Neil?
That's all Slash. He's going to drag this shit out. He's asking.
Yes, I am.
Acknowledge me.
Hello and welcome back to Bitchin' About Wrestling, where the Wisemen talk about everything WWE. This is going to be a little different from our regular show, as today we're doing the first in a series of top 10s. So this has gone down a treat with my other podcast, Creative Control, the entertainment podcast, and we've been doing loads of stuff, top 10s regarding movies. We've been doing a whole series about top 10 movies per year since 1980 and moving all the way up to 89. And we just recorded our episode for the top 10 movies of the 1980s in general. That'll be editing soon and be dropping very soon. So very entertaining stuff. So in that vein, today's episode is going to be top 10 finishers of all time. Okay, so everyone's really excited to get on board with this one. I think a lot of people are struggling with their lists. But once I've introduced everybody, I'll tell you the rules and how it plays out. So first of all, joining from the team, right-hand man as always, Neil, the original tribal boss. How you doing, Neil?
I'm good. Feeling good. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. Looking forward to this. Alex joining us again. How are you doing, Alex?
I am all good. I'm looking forward to this one because I think I've got a couple on here that that you lot won't even have thought of. At least I hope so. Otherwise, I'm just mid. But oh well.
Yeah, this will show people's knowledge, absolutely, for sure. Also joining us is Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing very well, thanks. I'm looking forward to coming up with a list. Very hard to narrow it down. I've got like a list of 30 here next to me. But I did have fun watching recap videos for ideas, just to make sure I hadn't missed any good one. So
that's a good shout. Yeah, that's a good shout. Also joining us, we have Rax. How you doing, Rax? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. The family's come and gone from a visit, so all the rooms were like taking over. Honestly,
finally got some space to yourself.
Yeah, I got my space back, so that's all good. Yeah, looking forward to doing this. I want to see how it plays out. So I've got my list running, but I'm really excited to see how this goes. So
all right, good stuff. And joining us for the first time, a new member of the Bitchin' About Wrestling team, we have Lee. How you doing, Lee?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm looking forward to making my debut on your podcast. Made my list. My top two have been fairly consistent throughout, but the rest has just been a mess.
Been a mess, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Lee, as you've just joined us, tell us a little bit about you and wrestling. When did the passion start, and what wrestling do you enjoy? What promotions do you watch?
So passion started about 99. Started watching it then. Mate introduced me, and I was hooked. Really, I was hooked on the McMahon Helmsley sort of saga that was going on there. Yeah, I followed WWE all my life. I've tried other promotions, but still keep getting drawn back to WWE through the highs and the lows, and a little bit of the independents as well. Tried to check out a few indie shows when they were out and about. But yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Well, welcome. I'm happy to have you on the team and looking forward to your flavor on the show. Right. So top 10 finishers of all time. So the way this is going to work is we do it in a draft system. So everyone's going to have their own lists. They're very personal lists and nobody is wrong, generally speaking, but the lists are personal to everybody, and we absolutely get that because it depends on the era you grew up, the wrestlers that you enjoyed watching, the impact of those finishes. Maybe you've gone to see a live event and it just meant something different to you. So everyone's gonna have their own list, but this is going to be a draft system. So as there is 6 of us on the show today, we're all going to get a chance to put one forward to make the top 10 list, and then we're going to go around and everyone's going to give me maybe another 3 finishes to add to the list, and then we'll basically take it on votes, and we'll put those votes and then we'll make up the remaining 4 positions. So it's the format we do it with movies. So you got to be strategic. Don't necessarily go for the obvious ones, because if there's more important ones on your list that you got higher up in your ranking, make sure they're in there. So that is how we're going to play. Right, I'm going to do a random generator to let us know who's going to pick first, and I'm going to hit that button now. Right, I'm just going to take a time out there because I haven't set up the random generator. Just realised. Let's hit that wheel. Let's see who's going to go up with their first draft pick. And it's going to be... Newbies first. It's Lee. Lee, you are up.
Stop it. Right. So this one's going on the list, yeah?
It's a guaranteed on our top 10 list.
Guaranteed. Right, then I'm going to go with the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music. I think
Sweet. Yes.
it might not be the most flashy, but for me personally, for sort of moments and memories, that move just, yeah. He hit it out of anywhere. You look back through sort of big pay-per-view moments. You got the Ric Flair Sweet Chin Music.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
You know,
Yeah.
the one on
And the
Mark
show on
Jannetty.
Benjamin.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a great one.
The brief heel turn on Hogan when he was doing the old cheer and then
Yes.
bang. Yeah. Brilliant finish.
The one on Triple H in the
Sweet Chin
Triple
Music.
Threat match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, straight out the.
And it started a trend of everyone doing super kicks.
That's the thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hundreds of people do super kicks now, and I would argue none of them combined are as impactful as one Sweet Chin Music.
Agreed.
And
Agreed.
if HBK came out of retirement now and hit that in a match, you'd believe that's it, game over.
Yep.
It's true.
Don't work with the Usos. Don't work with any of the multiple billions of people that fire a super kick party off. But
It works on Stan as well.
it does, yeah.
Dan, I love that sketch.
Yeah.
That's Perfect 10, isn't it? Before he was
Yeah.
Perfect 10. Yeah, okay.
Sean Spears.
No, that's brilliant. Sean Spears, that's it. That's it. All right, so Sweet Chin Music makes a list. It was definitely on my list for sure. Neil, was it on yours?
It was indeed.
And Rax, did it make your list?
Yeah, it was on my list, 100%. How can it
All
not
right,
be,
cool.
right?
Yeah, I think so. Ryan, same for you?
It was actually first on my honourable mentions of 11. It just narrowly missed it.
Oh, controversy already. I love it. This is what
I'm
we're here for.
I'm even more controversial. Didn't make my list. I had a long, hard think about it, and I just thought because it is now because I think I'm bored of super kicks, and I think I have one big kick on my list because I'm not a big fan of kick finishers. So that's why that one's not. That's why that's not on there. And I think there's one that's a lot more impactful in modern WWE.
Wow,
See,
interesting.
I'm going to point out something. You'll notice when we get to the point of me listing my actual top 10, the list that I have compiled, it's not necessarily the move itself. Sometimes it's the aura of the move, the build up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody can do a super kick. The Usos, the Young Bucks, Adam Cole, Rikishi did a super kick. It's not a big deal, but when you're in that corner and that tuning up the band starts, you're like, here's the kick.
Yeah, that's it. He could bring it out of nowhere, or it's a build up, and it works both ways.
I saw an interview with JBL on the network, and he said, when you hear the stamping in the corner, why do they turn around? They know they're about to get their hit kicked off. And then he was
Same thing with the RKO.
Yeah. He was in a match with Shawn Michaels. I think it was a Royal Rumble, and he said, "What's that stomping?" And looks around, bang, Sweet Chin Music. It just works.
It does. I believe it. Right. Let's move on to round number 2. Let's spin the wheel and see who is going to be up. And next with the draft pick is Ryan. Ryan, you are up. So this is your opportunity to lock in a finisher to make our all-time top 10.
Okay. I'm gonna go with one I don't think anyone else has picked. The Clothesline from Hell.
Great move.
Ooh.
It's in my honorables.
Yeah, I absolutely love that move.
It is in my honorables as well.
The amount of talk that JBL or John Bradshaw Layfield would get on that and absolutely decapitate people.
Yeah.
Just it was one of the first finishes I saw when I started watching wrestling in 2001 when he was still with the APA. And like, especially during the invasion, he destroyed every single WCW guy because you could legitimately think he wanted to kill them. Like, it's just awesome. And I think that's probably what carried a lot of his title run as well, that move. Like him doing it to smaller guys like Rey Mysterio and absolutely spinning them out. Yeah, love
It was
it.
a well-protected move as well, from what I remember, right?
Yeah, I think someone might have kicked out of it in a tag team match, but I don't think anyone bar maybe Batista kicked out of it during his world title run.
Made my honorables.
And I'm glad I mentioned it to get it on the list.
Yeah, it's on my honorables. It's one of those things that whenever I make a character in any of the wrestling games, it's something that's always in the moveset.
Nice. All right. So Clothesline from Hell makes our top 10 list. Right. So those are our first two picks. Let's move on to the next round. Let's see who is next up to give their draft pick. And the wheel goes round. It is myself. So, this is tough. There are a few here which I think I could maybe argue more, but I don't know if this will make everybody's list. But this was my favorite wrestler growing up. And so therefore I love the move. It's a move I did on my friends in the playground. It's a move I did on my sister at home. And it's the sharpshooter, Bret Hart sharpshooter. Fantastic submission hold, and just it's
you put your sister in the sharpshooter.
Absolutely I did. We used to wrestle at home, so not because she's quite a bit younger than me. She's like 8 years younger than me, so often when we were younger I used to lie down on the floor watching TV, sort of like lie down straight, head on my hand, and like look up and watch TV. She'd often jump on the sofa behind me and like elbow drop me off the sofa and stuff like that. So then it was a case of, right, you've done that, into the sharpshooter you go. That's it. exactly that. So,
Macho Man.
Yeah, all the time dropping elbows on me. So yeah, then sharpshooter was punishment. So yeah, like I said, Bret Hart, he was my guy when I was watching wrestling growing up, and to me, just it was a great move. It was a really tight submission move, and the fact that his brand was excellence of execution. Often sometimes it came from the Russian leg sweep, which I loved as well, fling back and then grab the leg, turn into it. So yeah, that made my list. Did anybody else have sharpshooter on their top 10 list?
Honorables.
Number 5.
That's it, right.
Yeah.
Oh, number 5. So Lee had it as well.
5,
okay,
yeah.
Good. So what's it about the sharpshooter for you, Lee?
For me, again, it goes down in the sort of iconic finisher route. You look back at memories, WrestleMania 13, Austin bleeding out in the move, just looks great. And a little bit of nostalgia as well. I was a big Bret guy, going back and rewatching, and I too put siblings in the sharpshooter.
Nice. It's kind of one of the safer submission holds that you can put your siblings in.
Oh, the Rocky
it didn't leave bruises.
Yeah, the Rock's one was terrible.
It really was bad, wasn't it?
I think that's what sullied the move into honorable mentions.
But yeah, it's been used by other wrestlers. Obviously Sting had the Stinger and stuff like that, and there's been versions of it. But there's nothing like the Bret sharpshooter for me. So that makes the list. Right, let's move on. Let's hit the wheel again. We have 3 more picks for this first round. The wheel goes round. It is Rax. You are up. So what is your lock-in for the top 10 finishes?
You know what? It's got to be the Stunner, 100%. It can't.
Okay.
I can't think of anything else not making that list, and it has to be in a lock, and it's got to be number 1. It's got to be number 1. It's got to be there.
It's my number 1.
I think it's just like, 100%. You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those like finishes that is so impactful when you watch it. Like I remember at the beginning when he started it out, it was sloppy as hell. when it was sort of like it just didn't quite know. And I think the first time I ever really saw it was when he did it on Vince. And Vince didn't really help the situation. It was just kind of like, what am I doing here? Kind of thing.
Every Vince stunner is sloppy.
It's sloppy. But I mean, there were some good ones as well. But no, but I mean, every time, I mean, when you think of your school days kind of thing, like the stunner always comes up. That's like the thing. That was like the main thing. But yeah, it's just such an impactful move, and it's so iconic. And you can go back and look on YouTube and look at clips and clips and clips. It's like amazing. It's like the best thing going. I think it's the most smoothest thing going in WWE.
I also think that it's how the wrestlers then started selling that move. Most of the impact of that move is how individuals, The Rock,
Absolutely.
the way he would bounce off his forearms. RVD. I think back at Razor Ramon as well. Do you know what I mean?
The double stunner.
Pat McAfee. Oh, Pat McAfee when he did that at WrestleMania, that was amazing.
Austin Theories was good as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And Xavier Woods as well.
Oh, was that the one where he was clawing at the air?
Down. One of my favorite stunners is where Stone Cold stuns Hollywood Rock. He stunned him, and then Rock kind of just stood up straight, but like completely dazed. And Austin was just like, hold for the camera, wait for the flash, and stunned him again. I was like, oh my god.
While The Rock was wearing his jacket, his leather as well.
No, that was the WrestleMania match.
Waistcoat.
It was just before that. It was like he's wearing like a leather waistcoat and leather trousers, and he just took the stunner twice.
Oh wait, you meant The Rock, Hollywood Rock. So I thought you said Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I thought you said Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Hogan
I'm pretty sure I saw in an
Don't be
interview
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what?
I'm pretty sure I saw in an interview that wasn't planned either, and it went on in the moment. So The Rock didn't, he stood up for it to allow Austin to hit it for a second time. So that wasn't actually planned before it happened. So that's pretty cool. I take it everybody had the stunner in their top 10 list.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 8 for me, but definitely on my list.
Number 2 for me.
Number 2.
Number 3.
Okay.
No, number 2 for me as well. It's one of those ones where, like you were saying about Shawn Michaels, it's like he doesn't quite hit the same with KO, even though he's one of my favorite wrestlers currently. There's something about the impact that Austin had of the kick to begin with that I don't think KO's quite got, where he bends them over. Like the actual stunner bit's the same, like you can't change that, but it's that kick, I think, that makes it feel more impactful from Austin.
I understand what you mean.
Definitely, yeah, I can agree with that. That's for sure. Right, so the Stone Cold Stunner makes the list. Right, we've only got 2 left, so let's see who is going to go next. And it is Alex. You are up, sir. What is your lock-in for the top 10 finishers?
So my list is quite different in the sense that it's stuff that's emotional to me and means something to me rather than it being iconic in the sport. Okay,
sure.
And this particular move, the one of the things that's always been said about finishers, it's got to be able to be done on everybody. It's got to be a bit different, not look like anything else, and be impactful and look devastating. And for me, this one was done by Christian, and it's the unprettier. It's a move that I put in all of my WWE characters. It's always my finisher whenever I make a game because I just think it looks freaking deadly, and I think it's so underrated as a move.
Interesting. I hadn't even considered that move for my list, but I get where you're going with it. Yeah, for sure. Did anybody else have the Unprettier on their list?
No.
I didn't. I agree 100%, Alex. You look at it and think, how do you take that bump? Your arms are up, your head's down.
And the thing is I've watched a lot of it, and I've watched some other people try it, and they kind of go down on their knees and don't quite put it right. But it's because the way Christian could do it, because Christian was such a bloody pro, and everybody trusted him. They knew he wouldn't drag their face into the mat and basically break their nose because they could trust him. And obviously, I think Chelsea Green has started using it as well, hasn't he? The unpretty her. I think she started calling it, but I just love that move. It's just one of those moves you can do on everybody, and it's just devastating. So yeah, that's why that's on my list.
All right. Good shout.
I love it too. I love the impact of it. That turning setup though is always seemed a little awkward, but the actual impact of dropping him is awesome. And I agree, like, it takes a load of trust to drop them on their face like that. There's no room for error.
Yeah. All right. Good shout. All right. So the Unprettier makes the list. That brings us to Neil. You are up, sir. Please give us your lock-in pick for the top 10.
My lock-in is... It's going to be the number 3 pick on my list. Because whilst it's not the move I really want to pick, I think I can get that move in. I think once I name it in the later round, I can get that move in. Or I hope it will come in. So I'm going to go with the Eclipse from Ember Moon.
Wow. Okay.
Great move. I absolutely love that move. It's absolutely brilliant.
Just think of a top ropes. For those who don't know, just think of the Stone Cold Stunner, but from the top rope.
With a flip.
Yeah. Like you're facing your opponent and you flip over to, whilst in midair, put yourself in the stunner position and then grab their head and then stun them.
That move is the main reason I miss Ember Moon.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So did anybody else have the Eclipse on the top 10?
No, and I'm annoyed I didn't because it's a great move. I forgot about it.
Okay. Well, good shout, Neil, then. Yeah, I think it's really smart to put that on the list because it may not make it when it comes around to the voting. So the Eclipse makes our top 10. So what I'd like to do now is take this opportunity for everyone to go around and give me their full top 10 list because I want to hear it. I want to know what moves are on your list. And then after you've given me your top 10, I want you to pick 3 off there to put forward into the voting pool for the next round. Okay, so we'll go in the same order that everyone gave their other ones. So Lee, tell me your top 10 and then give me the 3 that you're going to put forward.
Right. So my top 10, starting at number 1 was the Tombstone. It had to be the Undertakers as well. Anyone else, pale imitation. Number 2 was Sweet Chin Music. Number 3 was the Stunner. Number 4, I went with the Pedigree. Bit of a fanboy for Triple H.
Yeah.
Number 5, Sharpshooter. At number 6, I went with the DDT from Jake the Snake. Thought first move I ever thought, oh, he's killed him. Number 7, I've gone with the F5 of Brock Lesnar. Number 8, not the best move out there, but finisher wise, leg drop from from Hulk Hogan. Number 9, out of nowhere, the RKO.
Yeah.
Got to be on there.
Last but not least, I've always been a fan, never been able to do it, but the shooting star press from Billy Kidman was beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Tried many a time in the swimming pool. Never pulled it off. So, yeah, that's my top 10.
That's your top 10. Did you have any honourable mentions?
2 loads. Claymore, I think, is brilliant. Go to sleep. God, yeah, it was tough making this list and getting it down to 10.
All right.
Yeah.
So what 3 would you put forward then for the voting round?
3 that I put forward. Got to support my boy. Got to support Triple H. I'm going to put forward the Pedigree. I think that's just another beautiful move. Looks horrible. First bump I ever took, and the playground was a Pedigree. Yeah, you can add that to taking it on a through the table on a chair. Just adds more impact. Then I have gone with the DDT. I think that was a move for its time. Quite unique. I love the story behind the DDT. Apparently it was accidental. He was having a match with someone, had him in a front face lock and just fell. And the DDT was born.
Sounds like Jay the Snake.
Yeah, exactly. So I will put that one forward as a sort of to make the list. And then I'm going to go with the leg drop as well. I'm not sure how you can have a top 10 without Hogan featuring somewhere in there with that move. It just, as soon as the big boot hit and the stadiums will just erupt when they know what's coming.
It's all over. Yeah. Hugely protected finisher. Absolutely.
Definitely.
All right. And iconic. All right. Totally hear that. Right. Let's move on. So, Clothesline from Hell. That was Ryan. So, Ryan, take us through your top 10 list.
Sure. I'm going to go in the reverse order just to switch things up. So, number 10, World's Strongest Slam. Another one of those that could only be delivered by one man, and every other person that delivered it would just be less impactful, but the World's Strongest Slam was awesome. Number 9, the Gore.
The Gore, yes.
Delivered by
I refuse
Rhino.
to put spears on my list.
It's not a spear, it's a Gore.
Yeah, if they kick out of it, it's the spear. If it pins him, it's the Gore. So he said that no one has ever kicked out of the Gore.
It's true. Number 8, the ankle lock. Kurt Angle's in particular. It's just the intensity of that was awesome. Number 6, the choke slam. Sorry, number 7, choke slam from Hell by Kane. So specifically before 2005, that the height he used to get on everyone. Like, remember him doing it in Kai and Tai. Awesome.
Best choke slam in wrestling.
One arm. Yeah.
One arm. Yeah. Number 6, the code breaker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's another one of those. I like finishes that can be done on anyone, and that he just had to jump and bash his knee into their face. Number 5 was the clothesline from Hell. Number 4, the 3D.
3D.
So specifically performed by the Dudleys, not the Usos.
That's the 1D.
It's the 1D. Yeah. Number 3, the RKO. Number 2, the Stunner. And number 1, the F5.
Okay.
So specifically because he debuted basically when I started watching wrestling, is the first guy I saw his career start. And he started off with a series of F5s to Rikishi, Mark Henry, and the Hardys that were just insane, the clearance he would get on them. And yeah, it's phenomenal. Love that move.
That's a really good shout. That is a really good shout. All right. Did you have any honorable mentions you wanted to say?
Just looking over the list here, the 2 that I would specifically call out are the Sister Abigail and the Widow's Peak.
Okay. Good shouts.
So for anyone who doesn't know what the Widow's Peak was, that was Victoria's finishing move, where she would hold them on her back, and it was like a reverse stunner to the back of their neck, where their legs would be wrapped around her waist, and she would drop like that. There was a story that Molly Holly took it for the first time when Victoria was doing it, and when she came back, Vince checked if she was all right.
Wow, okay.
It
I'll have
looked
to go watch that
devastating.
one. I'm not familiar with Victoria, so I'm not familiar with that one. So I'll have to go back and have a look at that.
Have a couple of look at them. It's a properly devastating, like a reverse stunner where she's holding her neck and just drops it. Looks like she's snapping their neck every time.
Yes. Victoria's underrated as well, I think, from her legacy. I think one of my favorite matches back in the day, which really blew my mind for the women's division, was Victoria versus Trish Stratus in a no disqualification match, and that was just brutal. The equipment they were using, and I think it was on a pay-per-view at the time, but I thought it was just a fantastic match. I need to go remember. I can't remember which actual pay-per-view it was.
I think it was Survivor Series.
Sounds
okay. But
she was
I
paired
always
with
remember that
Stephen
match.
Rich. I remember that she used to be paired with Stephen Richards for a long time, like in the long line of Eddie Guerrero and Chyna and Dom and Rhea and the dominant woman and the slightly less dominant guy that was with her.
Yes.
And there was a WrestleMania spot where he ran into the ring going after Trish and whipped the chair onto the rope, and it went back into his face. And there's I just remember.
Brilliant. Good times. Right. Okay. So what 3 moves are you going to put forward for voting?
So I think I'm going to go with the ankle lock, the code breaker, and the 3D.
And the 3D. All right. Good stuff. Right. List is coming together. It's going to be hard when it gets around to the voting situation. Right. So I think I was up next. So going to start off with my honorable mentions because they didn't make the list. One was the jackhammer. I think that it finished off so many people for Goldberg, and probably 99% of the time he got them up there and he held them for a period. Some of the bigger guys, came down a little bit quicker, but I thought it was a really great move. He thou shall not be named. The crossface, I think that was a really great submission hold and finisher. But yeah, I'll move on. One that almost made the list was Randy Orton's punt. I always remember watching that.
The punt
and
kick.
where,
Shout.
yeah, people would go off air for months after getting that punt, and that
He
was that
kicked
kind of
Christian
killer.
right out the WWE.
Yeah,
He built the AEW roster with that move.
yeah. And I remember him doing it on like Legends, on like Foley, and like where you'd have like Legends appear on Raw for the week, he'd end up punting them, and then that was it, and kind of built on that Legend Killer moniker. So I thought that was good. But in
Do
terms
miss
of my
evil
finishes,
Randy Orton.
yeah, he's coming back. Don't worry. Right, so my top 10 list. I went with the curb stomp. Again, I think that's a really underrated finisher. It looks great when it's performed, with the way it's performed with Seth. He's put a lot of people down with it. Sometimes it goes to like a couple now, but I remember they really had to push their "don't try this at home" following that debut the move, and it got pulled for a while. And then they allowed it back, and I think that's great.
When he broke John Cena's nose.
Yes, yes.
It's because he clearly steps on their shoulder now.
Yeah, it's not so much on the head or the neck. It is, much higher up. A little bit safer way of doing it. I also went for the 3D, which was just brilliant. Whether it was in the ring or through a table, it always just looked fantastic, and it was a proper finisher. Tombstone, again, it was a classic for the period that I was going up. I think, again, 9 times out of 10, it put people away. I think memorably, obviously, people kicking out is like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania and stuff like that. But as soon as he hit that tombstone, he crossed over those arms, stuck the tongue out. He was taking that W. But on the very few occasions it didn't happen. But solid. It's a product of the time for me, and when watching it in the Attitude Era, it was the rock bottom. It's not the greatest looking move, but again, it was a move that you kind of pull out of nowhere. Maybe it was the way that JR sold it. Rock bottom, rock bottom, rock bottom. It was, again, it could be done anywhere, on an announcer's table, through a table. And it just worked for me as a move that I often did when I had a birthday party when I was 21, and I was working in the cinema at the time, and my manager allowed me to have it in the cinema foyer, and I got a wrestling ring, a bouncy wrestling ring for the party. And I was just rock bottoming everyone all night.
That's so cool.
It was very cool.
Sorry, or as my wife would say, in inverted commas, cool.
Cool, yeah. Next up, I got the F5 again, because I was able to put it on anyone. And, again, like you say, it's about the height. You'd get people up, like Big Show, Mark Henry, up over his head and down. And it just looks amazing. And especially if they were smaller, light middleweights, it looked like he was just taking him through the mat. Exactly. I also went for the pedigree. Fantastic move. And again, that's a move that changed over the years, because when he first kind of did it, it was a little bit more vertical, and we had some heads going into the mat, and it was quite a dangerous move, and obviously got a little bit safer over time. But I think there is also some people that don't sell that move very well at all. And you can clearly see big distance between
Ultimate Warrior.
and the mat. Yeah. Absolute no sell. Next up, Sweet Chin Music. That was number 4. Number 3 is RKO. And again, out of nowhere, we've seen him put it on so many people in different ways. Seth Rollins, I think that was a WrestleMania, from the curb stomp. And
Evan Bourne.
Yeah, Evan Bourne, yeah. Just so many. When you watch the highlight reel of the RKO, it's just fantastic the way he brings it out. Number 2 was the Sharpshooter, Bret Hart, and then number 1 was the Stone Cold Stunner, which we've already spoken about. So the ones that I'm going to put forward, I'm going to add an extra vote to the 3D, because I think that should be on there. I'm going to add, I have to put in the RKO. I think that needs to make the list. And then for my final pick, I'm going to throw in the rock bottom. Why not? So those are my 3 that I'm putting forward. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we had Rax, I think, with a stunner, right? So Rax, give us your top 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. From 10 to 1. Oh man, I'm almost shy saying number 10 because it might come off as a little kid. It's probably the little kid in me, but I always love the 619. I gotta put it on there. I always do that. Yeah.
Awesome move.
Yeah, I used to lose my nut every time I used to do it, so that's definitely going on there, 100%. Number 9, I apologize to Alex, it's a spear. so when I say spear, specifically Goldberg, like he used to like completely murder people. Like that, you know that time when he speared Christian and folded him in half?
Oh, yeah, and the Nunzio one.
and the multiple ones he did to Dolph Ziggler as well. I mean, Dolph Ziggler doesn't sell anything, but him versus Goldberg was awesome.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is I'm not really a Goldberg fan at all, but he killed that part, man, honestly. Yeah. Now we got Braun, so looking forward to see what he does with that.
Yes.
Number 8, I've got the pedigree, Triple H, obviously. The best one he ever did for me was at Royal Rumble 2000, Cactus Jack on top of the thumbtacks. That was the thing at Royal Rumble. That was the best pedigree he ever did. Oh, loved it. Number 7, it might come off a little bit cheesy up here, but I'll put the FU on there. Yeah, Attitude Adjustment with John Cena.
Again, 100%. He did it on everyone.
Yeah, 100%. It was a guaranteed win as well, right? But
he did some cool variations of that.
100%, really yeah, exactly.
Yes. I big show was it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and just the fact that he elevated it by going to the top rope and did it from there as well.
The avalanche was always good. So we did to put AJ Styles away, wasn't it?
Yeah. Number 6, I've got Brock F5. It's just beautiful to watch, isn't it? Especially on Zach Gowen. That was next the way he just did it. Number 5, I've got Sweet Chin Music. 100%. It has to be on the top 5s. Number 4, I've got RKO. The most viral finisher going, right?
Yeah.
You got to have it on there. Number 3, I've got the Tombstone Power Driver. Number 2, I love it. It's shit, but I love it. It's the People's Elbow. You gotta have
yes.
You gotta have it. You gotta have
I
it.
wanted to see if that would make the list. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah, no, definitely. I don't think there's ever been the move that just sets it up really right. For it's everyone knows it's ridiculous, right? And you got the. I love it when the heels would try to do their variations of it and just never.
Yes.
Worked out. Like Ric Flair, I think he tried to do one at WrestleMania 20. I think it was. And it was just amazing, yeah. And number 1, obviously, Stone Cold Stunner. So that's my 10 there.
All right.
Honorable mentions. I did have Jackknife Powerbomb from Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
The way he just did it, I just love the fact that he just dropped them and gave him a shit when they landed. He just kind of dropped them.
He threw them down. Yeah, like you say, he just let them drop.
He just went,
Yeah.
He just let him drop. The figure 4 leg lock. I had the bank statement on there as well with Sasha Banks. I've got a soft spot for her, so she had to kind of be, up there somewhere. 3D, obviously, and the Mandible Claw.
The Mandible
Claw.
I love the Mandible Claw.
100%. Yeah, I was just thinking, shit, has no one ever said that yet? Okay. But I got to go put him to the top 3 for me.
So give me the 3 that you want to put forward for consideration.
Okay, that's it. We're gonna go with. Has anyone said the F5 yet?
No, but I think it should be on there.
It should be on there. Yeah, F5. The Tombstone Power Driver. It's got to be there. First time he ever did it, and he killed Coca Beware, didn't he? And People's Elbow. Let's do it.
I'm so glad you said F5. I was being tactical by not mentioning it myself. I was hoping so I'm so glad you did.
Right. Okay. Cool. So F5, Tombstone, People's Elbow make the list. Right. Let's move on to Alex. Give us your top 10 finishing moves of all time.
So I'll do my honourables first, and I'll rattle through them really quickly. So these two were really, really close to being in the top 10, but just got knocked out. Is the Razor's Edge. because it's just iconic. The curb stomp, for every reason we discussed last time when one of you lot brought it up. 3D, same reason everyone else. Clothesline from Hell, Tombstone. The kick that I love the most of kick finishers is the Claymore. I just think the way Drew just pulls the Claymore off is just brilliant, but it just I can't put kicks on my list for some reason, and I couldn't put any submissions on my actual list. So the three I have in my honorables is the ankle lock, the Ken Shamrock ankle lock, because that's what I used to do to people at school. The
Neil appreciates that.
I can't remember if it's Kimura lock or Gamora lock, but the one that Brock Lesnar does that he did to Cody, where he breaks people's arms, because that's that's a legit move. And the Hell's Gate, because it just looks so fucking devastating. I love the Hell's Gate. So into the top 10, a move that only one person has kicked out of is the End of Days. I think everyone sells it really, really well. I think Baron does a brilliant job with it. So
he's protected it so well.
It's been very well protected. Only Drew McIntyre kicked out of it, and it made sense that Drew kicked out of it.
Yeah. Yes. That one where he hit it on Becky Lynch was just
yes.
Fun.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Anyway, great move. I was a really, really big fan of Biker Undertaker, so the last ride was just I just think it's just awesome, especially when he did it to some of the smaller guys. I think when he did it to
height that he would get,
Funaki put Funaki through the fucking ring was awesome.
Jeff Hardy's one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I then see the problem is the next lot. There's like minuscule gaps between what I think they are, so they could all be interchangeable. So don't hate me when I say that Stone Cold Stunner is number 8, then closely followed by the RKO, then the F5 at number 6. Pedigree means a lot to me because the pedigree was one of those moves, again, school playground stuff. I did it to a bully once and got pulled off of him. That was great. And then it gets into things that mean stuff to me because they're things I do to my kids. So the rock bottom, nothing better than taking your 9-year-old and doing a rock bottom onto the sofa. It's brilliant. So the rock bottom is number 4 for me. Best choke slam in wrestling, I've already said it before. Kane's choke slam is just so much fun to do to your 9-year-old daughter when she just goes way up in the air and you throw her down. But Kane just used to just pull that move off so brilliantly to everybody, and everyone would sell it really, really well, and he got the mega hype with it. It was the best choke slam as far as I was concerned. I was never a fan of the Big Show's one where he holds them and carries around the ring. It's not that kind of move for me. It was a big impact move.
It's another one where JR sold it. It's the choke slam from hell.
Yeah,
from hell.
Yeah, one of my favourites. And I've put this at number 2, whether it deserves to be at number 2 or not, but it's at number 2 because of its difficulty and the fact that the guy who used to perform it won't perform it anymore because he doesn't want to hurt himself. And that's the 054 from Mustafa Ali, which is the reverse 450, which I was watching a bunch of videos before I came online, and it is a crazy, crazy move. I was thinking between that and Ricochet's 600 flip that he does, but the difficulty on the 054 is just absolutely bonkers. If you haven't seen it, just stick it into YouTube and just stick in 054 and you actually see one from when he does it on the indies, which isn't even one of his best ones, but it is just devastatingly impressive that someone can do that move. I've always thought the shooting star press was an impressive move, but this is like extreme on the difficulty, which is why it goes very high on my list. And then I had the Unprettier at number 1.
All right. Awesome. Good list. Varied. Love it. What 3 are you going to put forward, Alex, to make the top 10?
I'm going to make people happy with my top 3. So I'm going to go F5 because if F5 doesn't make the top 10, I'll be very upset because it is just that bloody good. I'm going to put the last ride on and Kane's chokeslam.
Okay. Kane's chokeslam. Right, it's coming together. So, Neil, you're up. Do you want to go honorable mentions first and then go reverse order?
Yeah. I'm going to honorable mentions in reverse order. Good God, my list has got some different stuff in it.
Okay.
So, honorable mentions from bottom to top, even though they're not in order. The Razor's Edge, Razor Ramon. Right?
Yep.
Then I've got the high-low by the Undisputed Era, but specifically Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish, which was one would do a sweep and one would do a kick to the head, and you just take the opponent out both, and it was just clean and beautiful.
Cool move.
Yeah. Next is the Shatter Machine by the Revival, or FTR, which was, even though it is basically just a 3D into a code breaker, it was a menace of a move.
Yeah.
Right. After that, literally is the 3D Dudley Boys. Following that is the Figure 4 leg lock by Ric Flair. Fun fact, everyone else who's used the Figure 4 leg lock has won more matches with it than Ric Flair.
Oh, really?
Is that true? Does that include
Seriously.
Charlotte? Because the figure 8 isn't the figure 4.
Well, no, because it doesn't include Charlotte, but The Miz has won more matches with it, and I'm pretty sure Cody Rhodes has won more matches with it.
Wow.
But wasn't it Ric Flair's main finisher?
It was, but he barely ever won a match with it. He usually pinned his opponents.
So with another finisher or just pinned?
Well, yeah, I guess it just ended up in a rope break, and then
Yeah, he pinned them. Most of his matches ended with pinfall, and he won.
Dirty's playing in the game. I'm guessing he low blowed them for my own.
Yeah, he cheated his way all the way through. Right?
That's astonishing. The Miz has more wins with the Figure 4 than
Ric Flair.
fair enough.
Yes.
It is an
Crazy.
iconic move. I'm glad I said that earlier.
And we've got the Paradigm Shift, which is the Dirty Deeds by Dean Ambrose, but the way he does it in AEW, where he really gets the elevation and dumps them on their head. So it's Paradigm Shift by John Moxley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the ankle lock, Ken Shamrock's again. As much as, you know, Kurt Angle and even Ronda Rousey have used it to devastating effect, there's nothing quite like seeing every security and backstage personnel trying to pull Ken Shamrock off of whoever he's got wrapped up in it.
And he was always going mental as well. He was always screaming and going crazy.
When he was the world's most dangerous man, and he was like, yeah. That was
I saw a Mandela effect thing regarding the ankle lock where people think it was called the angle lock when Kurt did it. And
It was never the angle
It was
lock.
never.
Never.
We had the angle slam, but it was always
Yeah.
the ankle lock. Yeah.
Yeah. So next up after that is Crossroads. Cody Rhodes Crossroads.
Okay.
It's you know what it is? I think,
Man has hit it 3
It's a
times
very-
now to finish anyone.
but you know what it was? It's some of these moves, when we get into my actual top 10, some of these moves, it's literally just the move made the list because of one instance when it was used.
Wow.
Right? Because it was so just amazing for me when it was moved. And that Cody Rhodes hitting that 3 times on Roman, I was like, you're an honorable mention.
All right.
After that, it's Sister Abigail, Bray Wyatt. Right. Now, next up, we have the GTO by Kenta, the man who created it. Yes,
I
right.
don't know this.
Created it, but didn't perfect it.
He perfected it. We're not going to talk about Charles Montgomery Punk, right? So, yes. So, the GTO by Kenta. After that, we have the Swanton Bomb by Jeff Hardy. I'm sorry, but seeing him do it off a damn balcony through freaking, I think it was Bubba Ray on all of those tables at the Royal Rumble in New York. Whew, yeah.
Yeah.
Then I have the Frog Splash, Montez Ford's Frog Splash.
From the
That guy-
heavens.
That
He
guy
got
looks like he looks like somebody puts a rocket on him and it runs out of fuel.
Over
Absolute
Eddie
heresy.
or RVD?
Heresy.
We'll
It's
get
got-
there.
It looks way better. It looks so much better.
The height, the elevation, the look of it, everything just looks magical.
And his
Eddie's
cell
the
when he
only one-
hits.
That's true. He does sell it really well. Eddie's for me is the impact of it, like the absolute the force behind it. You'd feel as a finisher.
Well, so much so he broke his
as
wrist.
well.
Yeah, but then
On his
again, I
debut.
think but that is due to the fact that Eddie Guerrero is so much larger than Montez Ford.
I mean,
So
he was
him
about
that.
Montez Ford's size in WCW. He only really bulked up for WWE.
Yeah,
Yeah, because when he joined, it was a
there's that.
cruiserweight.
yeah. Following that, we have the curb stomp, Seth Rollins, sharpshooter, Bret Hart, and now a move that a number of you probably have never seen, the Rainmaker by Kazuchika Okada.
I can't.
This
say
is like when you put anime in your movie comments. It's just to show your knowledge of just showing off.
No, it's genuinely because I watch too much. I watch too much stuff. Like if
I've
I'm
seen
passionate
the
about
Rainmaker.
something, I watch everything. Yeah. So that it's basically think of like the ripcord knee, but the ripcord goes into a clothesline,
Okay.
and it's like watching that move when it was Kenny Omega versus Okada, and it was like the first of their two like 6-star matches. This seems like 40 minutes long, and he pulls it off, and if you've never seen him wrestle, you just knew that was his finisher because of the impact, the gravitas with the move. So I'm like, yeah, that was going in.
All right.
He does put some spice on it. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I've just seen it. I mean, it's fine. I don't agree, but it's fine.
You got well, it's an honorable mention.
I say we need to start blitzing through these. You're still on honorable mentions.
Yes. Sorry. All right. Yeah. So I'm gonna knock out because all I have is 3 left, right?
Okay.
Which is Bro Kick, Sheamus,
Yeah.
right? Pedigree, Triple H.
Ooh, okay, not on the list.
Yeah.
All right.
And 5-star Frog Splash, Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, he had a
Because he was the only one who made a Frog Splash look like I'm willing to die to win this match.
Yeah, and the way he held himself afterwards, because he'd roll around on the floor like this just hurt me as much as it hurt you. Yeah. All right.
Right.
Good.
So that's
He rotated as well a lot of the time when he did that. He would he would just jump forward.
He returned. Exactly. He would find them in the ring. Most people now, they position themselves really well. He was like, don't worry, I'll find you. And he would turn and twist and find them. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that was my honorables. Now, let's find the actual 10. So at number 10, it was the Meltzer Driver by the Young Bucks. It's the one where one of them does a front flip off the ropes to do a pile driver.
I hate that move.
So
the Meltzer Driver, has that got something to do with Dave Meltzer?
Yes,
that's why he gets in 5-star matches all the time.
Yeah. Right. I think it's impressive. I like it.
All right.
So there's that. There is Black Mass at number 9 by Malachi Black.
Yeah, that's
specifically Malachi Black. And the match that got it was him versus Johnny Gargano in NXT when he used his foot to bring him up from the ground to full height and was like, I absolve you of your sins, and then kicked his head into the second row. Then, so number 8, Crippler Crossface by, CB. I'm telling you, that move, I put someone in that move during an actual fight. The fight finished.
It works. Okay.
Right? It was in school. I put him in it, and we was fight that.
We were done. All right.
Yeah. Number 7, for all the reasons we mentioned, Sweet Chin Music.
Yeah.
Number 6, Randy Orton, RKO. Number 5, Goldberg Spear. Specifically, that spear to Nunzio, which is the most disgusting spear I've ever seen in my life. Right? It's like he speared him like Nunzio, like he had photos of Nunzio and his wife.
And the WWE production team almost missed it. It was the Kevin Dunn school of it just made it by 6 frames.
Yes. Right. So there's that. Number 4, People's Elbow, The Rock. And it's specifically the People's Elbow on the British Bulldog when The Rock slid because he was in shoes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
magical.
classy.
Yeah.
Number 3 is the Eclipse, Ember Moon. Number 2, Stone Cold Stunner, Steve Austin. Number 1 is the Styles Clash by AJ Styles.
Brilliant move. I can't believe none of us have mentioned it.
I
totally
been a
utterly
fan.
forgot. Brilliant move.
Yes. And specifically, it's the Styles Clash that he gave to Mustafa Ali after Mustafa Ali had done like a top rope finish and landed on either the Miz or Ricochet. Or I think it might have been Ricochet actually, but somebody did a top rope.
No, he
move,
did. Yeah, he did the Styles Clash with Ricochet onto other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like, I think it was Ricochet did a move, and the way his body bounced him in to AJ Styles' arms, and he just gave him a style clash.
Ah, yes. He springboarded him.
Of everything I've seen in all my years of watching wrestling, that made me get out of my chair and be like, what? Now, rewind, play that back one more time.
Another reason why in my mind Ricochet is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Didn't he sell a great move? Was it to Adam Cole? Wasn't there a super kick where he was back flipping
upside down?
Upside down. He caught him with the super kick.
Yeah,
that was beautiful. Yeah,
I mean, we should do top. I mean, if we did top 10 sellers, then Ricochet's in there with it. With
Ricochet, Dolph Ziggler.
I mean, no, Dolph Ziggler wins hands down.
It's a good point. But with the Styles Clash, I love it when he does it off the ropes. I just think to do something that you have to have the amount of trust, and he saved. Is it Ellsworth? James Ellsworth life?
I was about to say
because James tucked his chin in, and AJ adjusted mid-air to not kill James Ellsworth because he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So
maybe that's how he got that chin. Right. Let's.
So the 3 I'm putting forward is the Styles Clash.
Okay.
I'm also gonna put Black Mass.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put the People's Elbow.
Okay.
Have you written down our top 3? So I've forgotten mine already.
Yeah, no, I've
okay, fine.
I've kind of put them in order, but I can't remember whose is whom. But there's actually 3 moves here with 2 votes each, so they are automatically going to fill 3 out of those 4 places, and those are the 3D.
Awesome.
Happy with that.
The F5.
Very happy with that.
Very happy with that.
And the People's Elbow.
Fair.
So, which I can't believe that's getting in over the rock bottom, but hey. Right, so yeah, 3D F5 at the beat. So we've actually only got 1 more spot to fill. I'm going to ask you all to just vote for 2, and then we'll see how much we narrow it down. So the moves are Pedigree, DDT, Jake the Snake, the leg drop from Hulk Hogan, the ankle lock, code breaker, RKO, rock bottom, tombstone, the last ride, Kane's choke slam, the Styles Clash, and Black Mass.
Can we do top 15?
Yeah. This is crazy now, because I'm looking there, I'm thinking at least I'd pick any 4 of these, but yeah. So I need you guys to pick 2. So again, Pedigree, DDT, leg drop, ankle lock, code breaker, RKO, rock bottom, tombstone, the last ride, Kane's choke slam, the Styles Clash, and Black Mass. Lee, I'm coming to you first. Well, give me the 2 that you want to pick.
Oh, this is tough. For me, there's 3 that stand out there. There's 3 of that 12 is the Pedigree, the RKO, and the Tombstone. Don't overthink it. I'm going to go Pedigree and Tombstone.
Pedigree and Tombstone. All right.
Pedigree and Tombstone, yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to come to Ryan. Give me your 2.
Okay, just 2. RKO and chokeslam from hell.
RKO and Kane's choke slam. Okay. And next up we have myself. So I'm going to go for RKO. I think that has to be in there. And I'll go with the Pedigree. moving on. So we've got Rax. Which two are you going to go for?
I'm gonna go for Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, RKO. I'm gonna have to put that in there as well.
Okay. So we've only got 2 more people to vote.
It's
done, isn't it?
Not
done.
quite.
I'm going RKO
No.
and Pedigree.
So, well, it all depends on which last 2. So, RKO has
4 votes.
4 votes. We've got the Pedigree with 3, the Tombstone with 3. So really, it's only in a case of RKO or the Tombstone or Pedigree making it in. So, Alex, which 2 are you going to go for?
RKO and Pedigree.
RKO and Pedigree,
So
right?
it doesn't change anything.
So it doesn't change anything. So, Neil, which are you going to go for? So you can either add the Pedigree, we go to a tie break, or you pick the RKO. Well, RKO is going to go in if you don't pick it. So, yeah, it's either Pedigree, RKO, or you can just go for something else just because you can. But
Pedigree.
Pedigree, okay, ties it. Yeah.
Just an agent of chaos, aren't you, Neil?
That's Slash. He's going to drag this shit out. He's absolutely going to drag this shit out. Right, that's it. So it's going down. I think I know where this is going, but I'll go through the motions. The RKO or the Pedigree. Lee, give me one.
RKO is a beautiful move. Love it, but for nostalgia reasons, I'm going to go Pedigree.
Pedigree it is. Ryan, what are you going for?
RKO. It's
RKO.
got to be.
Rax.
RKO from me as well.
RKO. I'm going to go for the RKO. Alex,
And I'm
what's it
going for the
going to be?
RKO too.
Right. It's all over. That's it.
No one cares what you think, Neil. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Right, that makes our top 10 list. So, in no particular order, we've got the RKO, we have the People's Elbow, F5, 3D, the Eclipse, the Unprettier, the Stunner, Sharpshooter, Clothesline from Hell, and Sweet Chin Music. Oh, there's a hell of a list.
That's an awesome list of moves.
Well done, boys. Well done. That was good. That was really good. Really enjoyed that. And again, there's moves here. There's moves here that I wouldn't have put on the list, but that's what makes it beautiful because different moves mean things to different people, and that's why I love doing these collective lists as well because it's just a combination of all our opinions. So absolutely love it. Jens, is there anything else you want to say about our top 10 list, or any moves that you didn't get a chance to mention, or any particular times they were used which you'd like to member berry about?
Yes. I'm disgusted that none of us said the stink face.
I considered it. I did think about it, but I thought it's not a finisher, so it
Right.
It's
can't
not
go
a
in.
finisher.
Because you know what it is? I'll tell you right now. The greatest stink face of all time
Vince.
is Vince. When he thought that he was going to get a stink face by Trish Stratus,
Yeah.
and to go from Trish Stratus to Rikishi, there is no equivalent of going from heaven to hell in a faster period of time.
Have you not seen the modern version of that? Which is
what, Nia Jax?
at a house show with Shayna Baszler, Nia Jackson, Mummy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing. Brilliant.
Please, come on. That's amazing. Right,
awesome.
gentlemen, is there anything else you want to talk about, promote before we go today?
Well, I've always got to plug something, haven't I? So
Absolutely, go for it.
I've got my YouTube channel, which is at Alex Van Gene Racing. I do stuff about go-karts if you want to watch that and come on. And if any of you wrestling fans out there are F1 fans, tomorrow I am interviewing F1 legend Juan Pablo Montoya, which will be on Missed Apex in the next week or so as an interview. So that is a childhood dream for me. One of the best drivers as far as I'm concerned in Formula One history. So if you want to see an interview with me and a couple of my mates interviewing one of the greatest drivers of all time, Missed Apex podcast, go and download them after you've downloaded this and subscribed to this and done all that crap.
Good stuff. No, wishing you the best for tomorrow, man. I hope you have an absolute blast.
I asked Spanners if I'm allowed to fangirl, and he said infinite. So I'm gonna be a giggly starstruck mess tomorrow.
Guys, thank you very much for joining me. It was great chatting WWE and talking about wrestling finishes. Thank you very much to everybody who's watched and listened to this podcast. If you're watching the show, we thank you. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified on YouTube. And if you're listening to this podcast, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast, please make sure you hit that follow or subscribe on that platform. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you sound off in the comments. Let us know, what do we get right? What do we get wrong? Are there some finishes that we didn't mention? Do you think some are underrated? Do you think some are overrated? Give us your thoughts. And that's it from us. So until next time, thank you everybody and peace out.
Peace.